And what's up, guys? Boodchains here, back for the 4th episode of the Boodchains Talks podcast. And I'm here with my good friend, Griffin. Say what's up.
What's up, Brad? How's it going?
It's going good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well myself. Just a chill January evening right now.
Yes, sir. It's pretty cold here in my room, but I'm hoping we have some fire conversations to warm this up.
Hopefully we do.
Right, and let's just start by giving the audience a quick little rundown of who you are and what's going on in your life right now.
So I go to Vincent Massey Secondary School with Bradley. I've known him since grade 9, and me and him have started to become really good friends ever since grade 11 because we played football together in grade 11, and sadly that was cut out of my schedule this year and his schedule too. It's hard to hear that. I'm really happy to be here today with you, Brad.
Thank you, man. I'm glad to have you on. So you touched on football, right?
Yeah.
How big of a role do sports play in your life?
Honestly, Bradley, they play a really big role in my life. Like right now, I'd probably be gone at a lacrosse tournament or something. And like I've been playing travel sports for 8 years of my life now, and it's sad to see that I don't get to play and experience it this year, as it's fundamental to like everything that I do in life. And I love seeing my boys. I don't know. It's just tough to see. Everything's cut out this year because of COVID, and I hope that I can play sports soon, hopefully this spring.
Mm-hmm. And you said that you've played travel sports for 8 years. Is that all lacrosse?
Yeah, that's all lacrosse. I play for the Windsor team here, and I've spent all 8 years playing goalie. It's tough, man. Like I'm so used to being at the arena all the time during the summer, and it sucked that I got stuck at home just doing nothing. I just felt like my day wasn't complete without going to the rink and practicing or going out play a game. It just felt different, and I didn't like it.
And so how'd you get started in lacrosse?
I was playing house league hockey with my friend Joshua, and his nickname's Crash. His dad was a former NLL player, National Lacrosse League player, and he was like, if you want to try out for the team, it's crazy, man. Like, wow, he's just mind-blowing. He was like, why don't you try out for lacrosse? And before that, my brother was playing. He was like 2 or 3 years in, and they were like, they need a goalie. And I was like, sure, I'll try it. So I tried out. I made the travel team. First few years of me playing wasn't as illustrious as I would hope it would be, but as time went on, I progressed, and I'm here where I am today. And there's no words that I can say to Coach John and Joshua for helping me get into the sport that I love. Like, I'm forever thankful for them allowing me to play the sport. Just no words can be said to tell them how thankful I am.
That's wonderful, man. And so you said the first couple years were maybe a little worse than you would have wished, and then I know recently you've been on the junior B team for Windsor.
Yeah.
So what was going on in between those?
It's a tough sequence going from minor to junior B, because you go from an age gap of 15 to 16 to 16 playing against other 21-year-olds. It's almost like pro level with like transactions and stuff and whatnot, and like you can get traded and whatnot. It's just like I needed to adapt to the system, as I'm one of the youngest players on the team. I was the youngest player on the team at that time. It's difficult because it's like switching from just fun and games to business, and it's like it hit me hard. It was hard to adjust.
Do you think that business side of that lacrosse league either adds to the play or it takes away from the play?
It can add to the play. It pressures you to perform more at practice and games, especially. Like, obviously for players, you want to put up some stats and whatnot to keep you in the lineup and fight for your life basically in the league in a ways like that. As a young player, it's hard to be able to put up those kind of numbers opposed to the veterans that are on that team, on those teams. And sometimes you feel like you won't get your shot. Maybe you got to wait a year or two. That's what I have to do. I just have to take my time and keep grinding and practicing to get my shot and earn it and run away with it, hopefully.
Yeah, it sounds like a big part of bringing in the younger kids would be to develop them and turn them into studs for when they're actually ready to play.
That's the goal for these GMs. Hopefully they can run through the younger systems and get players out of that, and it's just free players basically to play, and they're really, really good. Hopefully it's their goal.
And you play arena hockey, correct? Or arena lacrosse, sorry.
Yes.
And that's an important distinction to make, because before I met you, I didn't really know the difference. From talking to you, arena lacrosse is a lot bigger here but field lacrosse is bigger in the US, right?
Yes, it is, and you can get scholarships for field lacrosse in the States, like D1 scholarships, and there's nothing for box or arena lacrosse. And
So that being said, have you ever thought about switching over to a field and trying to go D1?
Okay, maybe not D1, but
but still like D3, D2.
Yeah, obviously.
Some sort of like JUCO or something.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it recently, and I was like, 'cause my brother went D2, and I thought it would be cool to play like lacrosse over in the States and whatnot. It'd be like a great opportunity, but like personally, I like home too much to go, and also it's a lot of money to go over there and play. And I played like 2 field lacrosse games in my life, and they were like 6 years ago, and I can barely remember what it was like to hold a player stick. Like it's so much different. It's almost like soccer. Like it's a 9v9 opposed to a 5v5 in arena, and like the nets are different, and play and like checking is different. Like it's not as physical.
It's just a completely different game.
Yep, essentially.
So obviously, throughout 8 years of playing, a little bit of football sprinkled in, right? You've had a lot of good memories, I'm sure.
Of course, I have.
Can you pick some out that stick out to you?
One of my favorite memories was in my like second last year before COVID. At that point, it was our last tournament going into A qualifiers, which is like the big tournament at the end. At that point, I haven't won a single gold medal in my whole travel lacrosse career as a starter. The past 2 years before that, or the past 2 tournaments actually, we got silvers in both, and it was like it left a sour taste in my mouth, and I'm just like, I want to end it off with a bang. So then me and my team, we played lights out in that whole tournament, and we ended up winning gold in the last one. It was one of the most amazing feelings of my life to finally achieve the goal that everyone wants to achieve, which is winning gold in the sport that you are playing. And it's just unfathomable. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, man, I could really respect the amount of work that takes to be able to get there.
It took many years, and I'm happy that I was finally able to achieve that level of play, me and my teammates.
And how'd you go celebrate that?
We weren't 19, we were 16-year-old boys, and we couldn't, pop the champagne like you see all the pro teams do.
Pop a cigar in the locker room?
Oh, I wish I could do that.
Get the Joe Burrow photo shoot?
Oh my, I wish I could look that clean with a cigar in my mouth and also be old enough to not get charged or yelled at by my coach. No, but it was just like I have a video of the celebration, and it literally looks like, my dad describes it best, it's like finally, I don't like throw my gloves up in the air, like I just casually toss my gloves off and like casually put on my bucket, like take off my helmet on the ground, and then all you see is like 10 of my teammates just full on sprinting at me, and I just get tackled. And it's just like it all happened so fast. And I was just like, oh, I guess I'm late to the celebration. And then I just started awkwardly jumping because I never knew how to celebrate. It was like foreign to me. You
were kind of acting like it was just another day at the office. Then you got slam tackled by 9 kids.
Literally.
That's awesome, man. So obviously championships don't happen overnight. Sometimes you're able to see, kind of looking ahead, you're going to be one of those top teams, or you're going to be there, right? Did you ever have like a moment that stuck out where you were like, we could do this?
It was the start of our year that year was a little tough. We had some injuries to some of our top guys. We had very high expectations to make top 16, and at that point I was like, I don't know if we can do this. Like, the team's a little like short on guys. We have 13 guys on our team, and we lost one of our top players to injury for 3 months. He broke his collarbone.
Ouch.
And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I don't know if we can do this. I never said anything. But then our first tournament game against like the second best team in Ontario against Orangeville, a very close game. It was like 3-2. And then after that game, we were high ranked at that point because we played some weaker opponents in our division. And then these are like the Toronto teams. They're like really good, and they have all these like 200 kids try out. We have like 18.
Yeah.
And then we go out and beat them in the first game of the tournament, and it was just like, I think we have a chance here. Like, that game was like the deciding game that was like, I feel like we genuinely have a chance to win with this team or go far with this team. It all changed there.
Yeah, man, that's wonderful. being able to have that little spark in the back of your mind saying, wait a second, we have a shot here. And then round by round being able to move through playoffs and eventually you're there holding the cup.
Yes, sir.
That must have been wonderful, man. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. May I ask you a question?
What's up, man?
What do you remember, like, seeing me in grade 9? Like, what's your first memory of us together?
You in grade... Oh, okay, so grade 9, I remember we were DMing on Instagram, I think. Could I stop you there? You go ahead.
You're wrong.
No?
Remember grade 9 A&S?
No, I met you before that.
No. You're talking about the text from summer.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so I'll tell you the story that I know, and then I don't know, cause okay, so what happened? We were like messaging either on like Snap or Instagram. I was saying like, oh bro, like you seem like cool, like let's meet or whatever. And then like we both go to Massey, so like shouldn't have been an issue. And so the next day I go to school. I'm running all around the cafeteria. I'm asking everybody, are you Griffin Slayers? Yo, are you Griffin Slayers? Everybody's saying no because they're not you, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually I come up to Griffin Slayers and I'm like, hey, are you Griffin Slayers? And he's like, yeah. Are you Boodchains? And I'm like, yeah. And then I think we either just like shook up or we like hugged or something, but it was just like
we definitely did a dap up. I remember you. I think you were sweating. You were like, I swear.
I was looking for you hard, man.
I saw you running around the calf, and I'm like, I wonder what he's looking for because I didn't know who you were either. And then you come up to me and you're like, "Are you Griffin?" And you were like low key, like really red. And then I'm like, "Yeah, are you Boodchains?" And then I remember giving you a big dap up.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's a good story for sure, man.
Do you remember that? Do you remember A&S? All Night Social?
Yeah, what about it?
I think the first memory that I can really remember, actually the first one, was your grade 9 student council rap. I'm sitting there getting pulled out of my class. I'm like, it's gonna be an hour and 30 minutes wasted of my day. Some of them were really good, and then some of the others were kind of iffy. And
Come on now. You know you wanted to get out of class. You didn't care.
You got me there.
Okay, you're trying to act like you were worried about school.
No, at that time I could care less about school.
Get out.
And you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
No, but I remember this big guy with long hair going up on stage. I think you had sunglasses on too.
Oh boy.
And you just started rapping. I'm like, what? And then in my mind I'm like, he has some crazy balls to go up there and start rapping about Massey. And then I'm just like, hey, if he can do that, rap about a school for student council rep, like he must be really confident in his abilities and just have balls.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say. I'm saying you have balls. Like if I could never do that ever. First of all, I don't have the creativity to make a song that as good as you made. Second of all, go up and sing in front of all the. You
know, one thing that made it a lot easier though is that in grade 9 you don't really know anybody. So I remember I was like sitting next to Leah Stamp and she's like whispering during somebody else's speech, and she's like what are you doing for your speech? And I was like, I'm like doing a rap. And then she's like, oh, like really? And then it was just kind of weird. Well,
because at that point it's still foreign to you. Like everyone's foreign to you except people from your own school. Yeah,
you don't really know anybody, so you don't really care what they think about you. Well, I mean, that's kind of like what I was thinking going through. And then like I went up and did it, and then got elected. It was kind of a gimmick looking back.
It was.
At that point, it was less of a gimmick because I actually put out a mixtape in grade 9, right? So
yeah,
it honestly wasn't that much of a gimmick, I guess.
I mean, what matters is that you got elected and you got the job done with ease.
Yeah, that's true. Grade 9 was a really good year. We had a lot of good leadership. And then grade 10, I got reelected. I did another rap, and the leadership was like a little less good. Grade 11, I didn't make it. From what I've heard, leadership was like even worse. And then like kind of like each year, it's kind of been going down. This year, we're kind of looking to turn that around. Although, given the circumstances, we can't really do all that much.
With everything going on.
We're just kind of trying to do what we can. You take what you can get, and you do the best with what you have. So that's kind of like the attitude going into student council this year.
Speaking of student leadership, how is that going with everything being online? Like, how tough is it to decide what you guys are going to do for Spirit Days and whatnot?
It's really tough, just given normally we'd be halfway through the year, we'd have a really good flow and rhythm of kind of like what our plans are going to be. So we'd have had 2 or 3 events by now. We'd have 2 or 3 in the new year, and then we'd have our 2 Spirit Weeks. Valentine's Day, we'd have serenades, candygrams, stuff like that.
Oh, all the stuff that you guys normally do during the year.
Yeah, so we'd be doing all that. So like now we're trying to just figure out what we can do while still staying safe and what the school allows us to, based on like what they deem is appropriate and safe and whatever guidelines we have to follow. Just with Spirit Weeks, make sure that all of the days are pretty accessible for an online one, right? I don't know, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there are definitely some days that wouldn't really work well for online. But you know, something like Classy Massy kind of isn't as bad, because you can just throw on some like nice clothes and take a picture in it. Or maybe like Blue and Orange Day, like we haven't had one of those yet, but you know, you just put on some blue and orange and you're fine. You know, take a picture and you can get it posted on the Instagram. It's really tough to try to, you know, think of what we can do and have all that, but we have a really good group of people, so we're trying to do what we can.
That's awesome to hear, man. I'm glad to hear things are going well, considering what you guys have to work with. Like, it must be really tough for you guys.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel worst for the grade 9s, because with no events, no assemblies, no like cafeteria, like music on Spirit Days. The Spirit Days are harder to participate in, right? It's like kind of easy to just like throw something on before school because you're going anyways. But with this, you kind of have to go out of your way, or just certain stuff like that. So like there's less participation. From talking to some of the grade 9s on council, it kind of feels like it's just grade school all over again, just like a little more advanced and with more people. And so I kind of feel really bad for them, just because that's just a terrible way to start off your high school experience. It sucks for them, but you know, we can't really do anything. Those are just the circumstances. Hopefully,
yeah, they don't get to experience.
Yeah, hopefully next year there'll be some good leadership in control, and they'll be able to have all of the events that we once had, and they'll be able to give them a better experience next year. But for right now, we're just trying to do the best we can.
That's awesome, man.
And to pivot back, most of your life has been dominated by sports. I'd say that's fair to say.
Yeah, every summer, about 3 tournaments a year, and then a bunch of other games that we have to play. You
know, from all those practices, all the coaching, all the trips, all the people you meet, you know, there's got to be some good lessons you've learned from that, you know, to shape you into who you are now. Can you maybe share one of the best lessons you've learned from either lacrosse or just any sport?
One of the biggest lessons that I've learned is just take your time. No need to rush, or like work hard, earn your chance, and take your time. Your time isn't always going to come right then and there. You're going to have to season and make yourself better. You're never going to be the best all the time at something. You can strive to be the best, but just in my mindset, there's always someone better than you, and that you always try to be better than them, and then so on and so forth. And it's just self-motivation for myself to keep working harder each and every day.
Stay working, but be ready when your opportunity comes. I like that, man.
Yep.
So do you take that same kind of approach with schooling?
I definitely do. Like, if I don't understand the topic at the time being, I try to spend a lot of time devoting like my studies towards that thing and try to be better at it than I was before. Not everything will come seamlessly to everyone, obviously. as some people learn quicker than others, or people are better than other things than other people.
Mhm.
It all depends on what it is and just how you approach it, and that's going to determine how successful you are in the future for future schooling, like college and university, and right now in high school.
Mhm. Speaking of college and university, have you made a decision on what you're going to go into, maybe in the future?
I have sent some offers to U Windsor and St. Clair College for nursing and other things such as psychology and human kinetics,
Mhm.
stuff like that. I'm mainly waiting for nursing to come in. That's been my big one for 2 years now that I've been really wanting to go into, as it just piques my interest, like being able to help people while being able to learn that kind of stuff. It just interests me, like everything that they have to do, and I feel like it's a job that I would love to do in the future, and they also make good money, which is
Mhm.
pretty desirable in a future
Yeah.
occupation.
Yeah, my mom's actually a nurse, so I have a ton of respect for everything they do. They do way more than they get credit for, and as long as you're able to, put your nose down a bit and put in the work and really care for your patients, man. Yeah, I can see you being a fantastic nurse, and any patient would be lucky to have you, man.
Thank you, Bradley. Maybe you can be my future patient. Hopefully.
Let's hope not, man. Well, I mean, I guess you can like have a nurse for like just normal stuff, right?
I can take
like,
your temperature. I can
like-
take your oxygen saturation.
You'll just take care of me when I'm sick.
Yes, sir.
I'm down with that.
I'll be your caregiver. It's okay. It's okay. You're safe.
I start making up excuses so you have to come take my temperature, and then while you're here, we crack a couple beers.
No.
And that throw some steaks on the grill. that could be a good excuse, man.
I'd love a steak.
I might have to use that one day.
You have your little button to come call me, and it's just like, oh, Griffin's coming.
Yeah, be like, Griffin, man, the wife's not feeling good. You think you can come take her temperature?
Of course, Bradley. Of course.
Don't you know how to do that? I'll give you a steak.
No, you don't even need to pay me at that point. Just give me steak. That's all I want sometimes.
You been keeping up with the playoffs, man?
I have been. There's only one team that I want to win, and it's the
Bills. Bills Mafia?
Yeah.
I can respect that, man. I'd love to go to one of their tailgates one day.
Hopefully when we're older, 21 years old, and we can legally drink over there. It might be a trip that me, you, and maybe some of the boys will take.
To be honest, I don't really care if I drink.
Really?
I just want to go watch all the crazy people.
Jumping on tables, and I don't know. Some of the stuff you were sending me was...
Throwing people on fire tables.
You were showing me some of that, and I'm just like... I don't know if they're okay in the head, man. Like, I don't know what goes through your head.
Oh, they're a bunch of drinks in, man. They're not feeling a thing. They're just gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, what the hell did I do?
They become a human torch, and they probably don't even feel it.
They
with all
go
the
check
alcohol.
Sports Center, and they wake up the next morning. What the hell did I do, man? Go check Sports Center, and there's a video of you RKOing your friend in Bills jerseys.
Your friend's still laying on the ground. He's waiting for you to pick him up.
His friend can't get up.
Oh
no.
That would be awesome.
Hell, I'd like to go. That would be really fun.
Someday we'll go.
I mean, if you look at it, right? He's in the playoffs, and there's only Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and Tom Brady left. That's pretty elite company.
What about Chad Henne? Chad Henne deserves some respect.
Man, you need to quit sipping that Henny if you think he's good.
Okay, I'm sipping that. I'm gonna be sipping that Henny all day because he's winning Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, really?
Yep, he's winning Super Bowl MVP. Hot take.
Is this the same take that you had when Ben DiNucci came in for your Cowboys?
Thing is,
and how did that turn out?
7th round quarterback. I don't think anyone was expecting him to do good. I think I said I was like, oh, yo, they could beat the Eagles with Ben DiNucci. And then we ended up getting slapped, and I'm just sitting there looking like an idiot.
How about them Cowboys? Oh, man.
But
tough season for you guys. But,
every season.
At least next year, Dak's going to have a $50 million contract, right?
And don't worry, he'll have a cyborg leg. He'll be fine.
Oh, my goodness, though. this trigonometry that we're doing in math right now,
Not fun.
it's not even numbers, man.
Letters.
It's not even numbers. It's just straight sine, cos, tan, secant. I hate it.
You were showing me it. You were showing me it during English.
But you know, I'm almost
and
done.
I'm just like, what are you looking at? You're looking at a
Yeah,
poem.
it's more words than my English class. Oh wow.
What?
I just have a loud siren in my ear. I'm just keeping track on stock for PS5s so I can buy one if they come available.
Man, you're gonna sell me that for an extra
So
$1 million.
hey man, if you're not gonna buy it, I'm gonna sell it to you for extra.
Bradley, that man, you're just trying to scam me so much.
I'm messing. Hey man, I know you want that PS5, so
I do.
What's 50 more dollars when you're splitting it?
Fair. Bradley will take that as a little.
But you know, I wouldn't do that. I'd maybe do it only 50.
It's honestly not even that bad. I might slide you an extra 50 bones.
Only problem would be it would be on my brother's credit card, so I need to like space it out from
So he doesn't get
the GPU that he just bought for his computer.
credit card balance.
You know, you don't have two crazy big really big credit card charges all at once, and then the bank's like, yo, you know that nice score
Gone.
that you spent
forever.
a couple years trying to make, gone
Forever.
instantly.
Gone forever. He's looking at you. He's looking at you, crying. He's like, you know what you've done, and then you just leave the room.
No, but I can make a YouTube video how I ruined my brother's credit score, gone wrong, and then like having the thumbnail like a picture of him, but like photoshopped to crying, and then just clickbait everybody. All the finance channels are gonna come watch.
They're gonna look at what you did to him.
I'm gonna get flamed in the comments for doing that.
Nah, you'll be fine.
How could you do that to your brother? You should know better. Okay. I just use the excuse that I'm only 17.
Don't care.
How am I supposed to know what a credit score is? Oh my goodness. Isn't it kind of crazy that like none of that stuff's taught in school? It's honestly, there's so much that goes into.
I think it's a little weird. Like, it's super important.
Hear me out, right? Like school, it's not really like to teach you how to be a good thinker, right? It's just kind of teaching you how to be a good worker. You know, like take instructions to do this, and you know, do it this certain way, and do it like, you know, all this stuff, right? And it's because when our schools were being designed in the US and Canada, it was right around the Industrial Revolution. To my knowledge, this is, at least, I might be wrong here.
Yep.
But you know, so they were like training people through like school. They're like kind of indoctrinated them into like being a worker, you know, going into the workforce.
But Bradley, have you ever thought about this? How are you gonna get money to use that credit card if you don't know how to do certain things, like school that teach you how to do certain jobs? Where you get the money from?
I mean, obviously you have to, you know, have some sort of skill that society deems valuable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then like once you have that, they like don't teach you how to keep your money,
Mm-hmm.
like push you to spend it on like stupid stuff to like keep the working class down, and like it's kind of like suppression to like keep the like class divides where they are. I know in like a lot of neighborhoods in the US, in poorer neighborhoods that have a higher population of African Americans, right? There's a lot more fast food and a lot more liquor stores than there are in the white neighborhoods in the suburbs, right? And it's very predatory, the behavior of where these are located, right?
Yep.
Like if you're in the suburbs and the closest way for you to get food is a grocery store, right? That's going to be vastly better for you than if the closest thing is McDonald's. Yeah. On every corner you have some sort of liquor store or a corner store that has liquor, because the US you're able to do that. You know, that's just very like predatory, and you're really able to see like how, you know, all these things are like laid out for people to fail and get left behind while like the rich get richer. And it's just kind of crazy. Like once you start putting puzzle pieces together like
it's almost like messed up, but they keep doing it and they're not gonna stop.
Oh, it's very much so. Let's say you give like $1 million to like most of the kids in our grade. Most of them aren't gonna have that $1 million in like 5 years.
I know, because they're just gonna spend it on whatever.
It's ridiculous, man. They're going getting a Rolls Royce, a Mercedes. They're getting some Teslas. They're maybe buying their mom a house, and then, oh wait, where'd all the money go?
One out's kind of dumb.
You know?
Buying like expensive chain/watches/ jewelry, like I think it's kind of a waste of money.
Just buying like expensive anything.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know, man. Saving your money is just, it feels so much better.
I know. Me and you love saving our money, Brad.
Me and you know it, right? In our friend group,
Constant.
we have a couple big spenders, and then there's me and Griffin, and we just stash as much as we can away. And although one good thing is that I've heard starting soon, it might have been this year or next year, that civics and careers is gonna have a small financial literacy unit, which is huge.
I wish I had that, man. It would be so nice. Would have been so nice.
I'm sure with that also, like, the curriculum could be skewed depending on like who your teacher is, or just really like what the curriculum is written as, because they could be telling you like the wrong things. Like, imagine that, like, it comes out in a couple of years, they told kids to like always pay the minimum on your credit card, and then like it screws over like a whole generation.
Man,
I don't think that would happen. But, you know, like, just kind of like the idea of, depending on what they tell you, it could be better or worse than something else.
They might have to do like tests for like teachers that want to teach that program about all that kind of stuff, just to see that they know what they're talking about, opposed to just throwing them in there and being like, I don't know, teach them whatever you do, which might be the wrong thing.
Honestly, I think in grade 12 there should be like a mandatory life skills course, where like they teach you how to do like just a bunch of things that you're gonna need to know in life, in university, whether it's like you know, in university, whether it be like habits, like how to like spend your money like wisely and how to save it, because in dorm rooms and in university, right, you need to save your money, you need to be able to pay off your student loans as fast as possible. There's just a bunch of info that you need, right, for going through university financially, let alone dealing with your course load, dealing with your mental health, dealing with all this stuff.
I think realistically it could work, because all you really have in grade 12 as like you have to do it is in English. You have so many other options to choose, and if you could have two, like English and that, and if they're actually both really helpful, then it would be smooth sailing. But they just haven't thought of it that way yet. And
then you still have you'd still have 6 electives. You'd still have enough to get like all of your courses. If you have like a heavy like engineering timetable, you'd still be able to get your physics, math, calculus, like anything you really need, still be able to get a top 6. You know, just being able to like teach everybody like civics and careers, but like a grown-up version. You know, like teach people maybe like go over voting again, because when you're in grade 10, you know, they teach you like about voting and all that, but you know, it doesn't really stick with you. Whereas, you know, in grade 12, you're a lot more conscious about what's going on in the world. You're a lot more keen to,
and you become of age to vote.
Yeah, you're only a year off from voting, depending on where your birthday is, and depending on when you have the class, you could already be old enough to vote, and so that's something you'd want to pay attention to.
And it also grasps the interest of more
and even
students.
Just going from there, just being able to conduct yourself in a workplace, for those of which who like haven't gone through that, you know, maybe they just haven't had the chance to work yet. They've been, you know, too busy with school or just other things in their life, or you know, just like there's just a lot of skills in life that you're gonna need. It'd be nice that it was mandatory for people to you know, learn those skills, so you know, so as to like make the transition to real life from every day you wake up at 8 and then go to school at 9, and through that routine, and then now you're gonna go jump into the real world where make your own decisions for yourself, and just like, you know, everything that comes along with that. I feel like a mandatory life skills course would be really useful.
It would be very helpful in the future for people who are going to pursue like a lot of things, like a business of their own maybe, and just whatever they want to do. Like any of those essential life things in your future is going to be super helpful for you. Like, I think it should be mandatory. Like, that's an awesome idea, Brad. Like, genuinely,
just like an idea I had just playing off this. It could also be not like one class for everybody, but it like splits you up into like groups depending on what kind of like pathway you might be on, because life skills of somebody going into an engineering pathway and they go to U of Toronto for 4 years and then they go to U Waterloo for like a graduate. I don't really know the pathway. They go do that is going to be, there's going to be some overlap, but those skills that they're going to need in an engineering environment are going to be different than, let's say, people who want to go have their like own business or something like that. So maybe that's getting a little too specific and you'd have too many classes and it would be hard to schedule, but still, just like the idea of having a certain course would be huge if that, helps people in the future.
Speaking of the future and everything going on, about the podcast and just what's going on, like, what are your intentions for the podcast from here on forward?
Just being able to put out an episode a week, try to keep that consistent for as long as I can. JJ and I, keep pumping out these episodes, eventually just get into a routine of making these and putting them out and getting guests on. Episode a week. This is episode 4. We're going on 4 weeks already, man. It feels like I just started.
Time flies by fast. It's awesome to see how this is blossoming into something great. And I can't wait to see what's up in the future for you, Bradley. And
I'm really excited to see where the podcast goes. Say like once COVID is all over and once I can maybe turn my room into a studio.
It would add a whole new element to the podcast to be able to see like what the other person's like reactions are like and whatnot. It just adds
and also just being able to hopefully in the future have these discussions and conversations in person. An in-person conversation just feels way more human and you're able to just connect with that person way more. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to do that, and that'll add another level to this podcast. But starting it this way, all you can really go is up. So I'm really excited, man.
Baby steps, Bradley. Baby steps, my guy. It's gonna take time.
I think I've mentioned this in the first episode, maybe might have got cut out. Most podcasts don't make it past the 10th episode. 10 weeks. It would mean a lot to like get there and then be able to like go past that and maybe get to 26. That's half a year, and then from there all you have to do is do that again and you're at a year. It's kind of crazy to think about. Episode 52 on New Year's Day 2022. I'll be through my first semester of university. I'll not quite be done the first
really
semester
close.
I think. And also once the summer comes and I don't have to worry about school, being able to just focus on like working on the podcast. Hopefully gyms are open, we're able to go back to like playing basketball. We'll be able to go lift some weights together and everything's going to be back to normal. Start getting some normal habits, some normal routines, start getting back to something that feels a little more normal than what we have now.
Going back to life that's not so foreign to us, going back to the norm.
Last night I actually was talking with my dad about, we kind of think our life is better or worse than like before COVID. And my dad kind of said he either felt like the same or a little bit better than where he was this time last year or March last year. And I kind of felt the exact opposite. Just like last March, I was like going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I was in a really good habit. School was going really good for me. It's not saying it's not now, but it's a lot nicer to be able to go back to grade 11 than have to deal with grade 12 stuff. There's just way more work and responsibilities
and school.
Just being able to
like university, college,
go back back to where I was, like in the gym, like seeing like progress every couple weeks, seeing you seeing your numbers go up, seeing all this. And then I was able to start going back to the gym in like August until just like mid-November maybe. So I was there for maybe like a month or a month and a half, 2 months maybe. It's tough to like have something like you really care about like that and then like have it like ripped away. And I know you touched on that with lacrosse, right? Not being able to spend time with your boys out there in the block, in the arena.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it at the arena, I guess, right? It's just, not being able to like spend that time with your boys and make those memories. I know that's really tough. I've gone through that too. Missing 2 football seasons now, one in the summer, one in the fall. Everything's just kind of a mess, but you just kind of have to keep pushing forward, right? Because I'm sure just as difficult as it was to have all that stuff taken away from you, right? To have all that stuff like thrown back at you at once could be tough. Although I think just because of how we've seen COVID and restrictions lift and go away, normally this stuff is gonna get eased into it. Like maybe you only have like one practice and you, I don't know, have to like take some precautions when you're changing or something, and then eventually stuff starts getting better and better, and then it comes back again worse. No. I mean, that's what happened this time. Everybody started taking it like less serious, and it really came back and bit us. But hopefully someday everything goes back to normal, and I'll be able to have you back on the show in person.
Hopefully, that'd be a treat.
Hey, yeah, it would be a treat, man. I'm really really glad you've been able to be here and spend this time with me. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you for bringing me onto the show. It's a pleasure.
I'll give you I do this for all of my guests, right? So I'll give you 30 seconds. Just plug anything you have going on right now. Maybe like drop an Insta, whatever you have going on that you want to plug. 30 seconds on the clock.
All right. Since I'm being timed and I only have one thing to say, I'm just gonna talk and hype up my boy Bood. Watch the podcast. Just keep paying attention to the posting. I want this channel to get big and I want to blossom. But my Instagram is Griffin_Solaris, and I want you to support Bood on his journey to becoming a podcaster. I don't know what to call it. Internet sensation. How about that?
Oh man, you're giving me too much credit. But I really appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.